Welcome. We have, as usual, our usual tech issues, but this is like early for us, being 2 minutes late. I love it. Yeah, we have a very exciting show. Very exciting. I have big plans for today's show. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just saying, haven't done a dynasty draft mock, anything that dynasty centric in a little bit as we're finally getting over into the redraft push. We're getting closer. We got like less than a month till that Hall of Fame game, and preseason and training camps are starting up, now, next week, everything like that. So I'm getting excited.
Yeah, no, I love that. So if you're here, we're doing a Dynasty Startup mock. So this is the link to the mock. Please join it. I have a bunch of spots left. I believe, right now I put it in my Patreon. It's starting to fill. I think Ryan will be joining us shortly. He'll be joining us before we get to mock. I don't know if Ryan is in a hotel, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to mock and do the show at the same time, but he'll comment on the mock with us as well, because I don't know if there's gonna be a spot for him, but that's fine. But yeah, no, just some tech issues. Starting next week, I think we'll all be in our normal places.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it was weird.
Okay, so start with a comment. So if you're here, I'll just start with this. I always like to start with this. Ooh, I'm having blurriness. If you're here, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a comment in the chat if you're watching it live. In the chat. If you're watching it after, leave a comment below the video, because that helps the algorithm, helps people find the video. It's very important, obviously. And then obviously the most important thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. If you're here, if you're watching it either now or later, make sure to hit that red button, subscribe. And if you really want, hit the notifications bell so you can be notified about my future content. Most of my content is this show. It's Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. My Ask DLF show, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. But occasionally I do have some live updates, shorts, stuff like that. It does come up. Not on a schedule, obviously, because I can't control when the news is, but if you hit the notifications bell, you'll be notified about all of that. So yeah, just make sure to hit that subscribe button. We need 38 more subscribers to get to 1,000. You guys did a great job over the last few days. I was sitting at 818. I believe going into the show, we had 962. So yeah, almost 150 over the last few days. So I really appreciate everyone who's, supported me with that. And yeah, so just thanks for that, and keep it rolling. Jesse says, "Sup, dudes? Yeah, welcome. Yes, you weren't you, at the Boston
I was.
Live? Yeah. You want to tell the people about that? I mean, I think the people want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was on Saturday at a pub right near Fenway. It was, as expected, just an amazing experience. I love just meeting all these like-minded, just fantasy-obsessed people. I was in one league. There were 4 leagues going on all at the same time. And it was honestly so fun, just like comparing ADPs across one league from another, even though we were all right there, all drafting for the same scoring and format. And still you see some guys fluctuating 5, 6, 7 rounds. So it was super fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people that I followed for a while, interact with on here. So I had a ton of fun, and team's looking pretty solid, I think. So I'm happy about that as well.
Do you remember meeting Steven?
Yeah, of course. There were numerous Steves and Stevens, but
maybe someday people will get to meet me. Maybe it'll happen. There's an event in New York. I'll consider getting off my ass. I'll consider it. I'll strongly consider it. Maybe. I don't know. Yes, we'll talk about this. Yes, smash the like and subscribe button. You'll get a free GameCube. No, you won't. All right, let's move into the news. Mostly, I'm just stalling until Ryan gets here. All right. So first, Nikhil Harry was traded to the Bears. I did a video. I think it was one of the best videos I ever did. One of the best videos, because I think that it was so short and it contained no useful information, but it was just me being funny. Nikhil Harry sucks. Nobody cares. But watch the short video. You'll get to hear me say that with a little bit more vigor. You have anything else to add?
I mean, it was a great opportunity for some of his truthers to pull out his old college tape and stats. And I will say, obviously, he looked great there, but it has not translated at all to the NFL. And even being the Pats guy on the show, I was happy we got a 2024 seventh rounder for him.
You think so? Yeah, I agree. But Bill Belichick, we know that Bill Belichick, the GM, has been a big failure over the last few years. A lot of failure. Nikhil Harry, a failure. Trading for Mohamed Sanu, big failure. He did not acquire any. He thought trading for Devontae Parker was a good way to upgrade the weapons for Mac Jones. I don't think so. I don't think that was such a good thing. He managed to not get along with Tom Brady at the last few years of his career. And then, Tom Brady ended up walking out the door and then winning Super Bowl. Now, let's not forget the same Bill Belichick in 2017 wanted to get rid of Tom Brady and go with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. That's what he wanted to do. And he shouldn't have done that because we see what Brady and Garoppolo have done over the last 5 years. So Bill Belichick, the GM, is not good. The head coach is covering up for Bill Belichick, the GM, and has been doing so for years. And I suggest if anyone wants much better than I could do about this, I suggest listening to a recent episode of the Chris Harris podcast. I think he talked about Bill Belichick, the GM. He went into great detail, much more detail than I'm going to go into, about his failures as a general manager. So I would suggest that one. I actually think that that's a good podcast to listen to. I think people will like it. So if you like this kind of stuff, you might like that as well. He's not quite as mean as I am, but actually he was pretty mean. Anyway, so that's enough about Nikhil Harry, Nikhil Bust, or whatever we want to call him. All right. Speaking of former Patriots, so apparently Gronk is really retired. Quasi legend in point per block. Yeah, just as much as Alan Lazard, right? I mean, Alan Lazard is great in point per block. That's all he can do. He can't do anything else. People are crazy. I mean, they just look at him and they think, oh, well, the vacated targets is going to get a lot of things, but actually he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything because he sucks. All right. Lamar, Mack, Kirk, Tannehill not competing at the moment. I assume this is a super flex. He's talking about trading Kirk Cousins for a 23 first. If you could, would you?
I think, yeah.
You would.
I mean, with having Lamar as your QB1 and then a younger option in Mack and the more like veteran QB2 option in Tannehill, if you're not competing, I think that 23 first, I mean, I don't want to say it even depends on where it is because I think I would take a 23 first for him. What about you?
I mean, yeah, I would probably take the 23 first. In this case, if you're not competing, I think if you're not competing, you're not going to get more. He's not going to rise in value. He turns 34 this summer. So you're not going to get more later. So if this is it, if this is what you're going to get, if this is the best it's going to be. So I would just take it if you're not competing. I think it's the only
would you try to trade Tannehill instead for that 23 first?
I'm fine trading both if I'm not competing. But I think Kirk has more value. So
okay. So no, I'm saying
23 first for Tannehill.
Probably not possible. But
you're not going to do that. So I mean, that would be great, but that's not going to happen. Interesting, Steven. Actually, we're both 11s. I was an 11 as well. And yes, Jonathan Taylor did not fall to me. It was weird though, because I will say, while I might like the atmosphere of a live draft, I do not actually really love live drafts. I prefer the slow draft because I think that. So I'm a national chess champion, if people don't know. 4 times. A lot of wins for yours truly. But as you know, the shorter the game, the more likely it is for a lesser opponent to beat me because I have less time to think about it. If I have an hour, I mean, we could play a million times and you'd never win. But if we had a minute each, you might be able to win a couple of times. So like, since I think that this is going to sound super egotistical, but I don't care. I think that I'm one of the best drafters out there. But if I only have 30 seconds to think about it, a lot of that advantage goes away. So I prefer the slow draft for me because in Dynasty obviously allows me to trade, but even in redraft, I think I have a bigger advantage if I have more time to think about it. Because I can actually consult my rankings, make sure I'm making the right pick. I don't have my rankings memorized, especially not on a 30-second clock. So yeah, if you're live and then your plan is messed up, you get a little bit of a, what do I do? What do I do? But for me, I mean, Dak Prescott, he was not available in any of the mocks. I did not have the option to take him, but he was there in the live one. And then I went with him and it kind of changed my plan. Although the rest of the draft kind of went along the lines. I started with one early quarterback and then it actually kind of went a lot of the way I started. Although I didn't expect George Kittle to be there at 4'11", which kind of threw me off a little. I was mostly getting a tight end later. So stockpiling those middling tight ends later. So that did throw me off a bit, but nothing too crazy. I have a pretty balanced team. I did get Justin Fields at 702, which I think is probably my best pick in the draft. Tyler Rules just came by to show some love. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know we've talked on Twitter, Mr. Armchair or Mr. and Mrs. I don't know how many people on Armchair, but I do appreciate you. And yeah, non-tight end premium. I have Pitts, Hawk, and Mooney for, okay, so having Pitts doesn't matter. We'll just focus on the trade on its value. Okay. We also might get a live pick from me in Scott Fishbowl. There's I think 6 more picks until it gets to me. So if it gets to me, I'll stop the show and stop the draft and do it.
Which round is that?
16th.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Gus Edwards just went off the board.
Yeah.
I hope so. It wouldn't have been nice if that news came when I was on clock. Hawk and Mooney or Garrett Wilson and Alec Pierce. Interesting. Non-tight end premium. What would you take? You have to choose.
Non-tight end premium. I mean, I think it is. Yeah. I mean, I think it's close. I think I could see going either side. I think depending on kind of if you're competing this year, I'm more likely to take that Hawk and Mooney side. And if I'm a little bit more rebuilding, then I take Wilson and Alec Pierce. But I don't think either side is like a huge win over the other or anything.
Yeah. I would take the Wilson side, but I could see it. All right. Having Pitts also helps to take the Wilson side. All right. So a couple things. We'll just go through these really quickly. The franchise tag deadline was July 15th to reach a long-term extension. No players on franchise tags did. So for fantasy, that really includes Schultz and Gesicki are the ones that we care about. I didn't expect either one to get a long-term deal. I thought Schultz was more likely. Gesicki, I don't think is in their plans. It makes no sense to re-sign a tight end who plays as a wide receiver when they have Waddle and sign Hill to a massive extension. Honestly, Gesicki doesn't really fit in their offense anymore because he plays mostly out of the slot, and it would be really nice if you could put Hill and Waddle in the slot sometimes. So I do not expect them to. I expect Mike Gesicki to be on a completely different team in 2023. I never expected them to extend him. I don't expect them to extend him now or after the season, and I think he will be playing elsewhere. I think they wanted to just have him back for 1 year because they could afford it. They had the cap to give Tua every opportunity, which I think he'll fail, but every opportunity to succeed. And it makes sense to bring him back for 1 year and not commit to him long-term. He's not going to be, there's just no point. There's no point in spending 13, 14 million a year on Mike Gesicki when you have Hill and Waddle soaking up all those targets. So he will be on a different team. I think he'll be a very interesting free agent next year. As for Dalton Schultz, I thought there was a chance he could get an extension because I thought he was more in the Cowboys' plans. Didn't get one, and now it's a prove it year. I mean, if he plays well, I think the Cowboys tend to take care of their own more so than the Dolphins. If Schultz plays well, I think he gets the extension. If he plays poorly, I think he doesn't. So, but it's a prove it year. But I'm not worried about you have Dak. You don't have Tyreek and Waddle. You just have Lamb, and it's not going to be easy to find a wide receiver 2 on the level of the wide receiver 2 in Miami. So, and Dak is a lot better than Tua. So I think Schultz is also a real tight end. Gesicki is not a tight end. Gesicki is a wide receiver. Schultz is a tight end. Schultz plays tight end. Schultz can block just fine. He is a tight end who plays at tight end. He does not play wide receiver. The Cowboys lined up 11 personnel almost every time. Schultz plays tight end. So he's a better fit on the team than Gesicki is on his team. Gesicki really should be somewhere that has 2 really good wide receivers and needs a wide receiver tight end hybrid like the Chargers. That one. No, or That one, or honestly, Chiefs. That would be interesting. To have him play with Kelsey. I would love that. But Gesicki will be elsewhere. All right. So a couple other things. I will just do this one myself. So, a couple more picks in my Scott Fishbowl draft. So we might get my pick live. Okay. Deshaun Watson has threatened to sue the NFL if the 1-year suspension comes down. He will sue. Him and the NFLPA will file a lawsuit against the NFL if that happens. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean for our purposes? So if the suspension is a year and he files the lawsuit, what will happen is that there will be, and this is what I've been warning about, why I picked Deshaun Watson in Scott Fishbowl, but still don't really want him in Dynasty. Why I picked him in Scott Fishbowl. I'm warning about this. I mentioned this on the show 3 weeks ago, and I'll mention it again now because now it's in the news, but I've been saying this has been possible for a long time. If Judge Robinson puts in a suspension of, let's say, 6 games, and then Roger Goodell on appeal says, no, thank you, Judge, but it's actually going to be a year. It's going to be a year, an indefinite year. I decided it's going to be a year. That gives Watson actually a decent legal case to sue the NFL. So if he sues, there will be an injunction against his suspension that will prevent the suspension from being enforced until the case is resolved. So the suspension could be moved to next year, assuming he loses. And every player that sued the NFL has lost. Brady lost, Zeke lost. They all lost these cases. So assuming, because realistically, courts don't like to overturn collectively bargained agreements. So he'll probably lose that case. But even if he loses it, hey, how's the internet?
It's good.
I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. Yeah. So, but the problem is that if he loses the case, he could still play this year, which I think would be very awkward. But the Browns obviously don't care. Chief Failure Officer Paul DePodesta did this in the first place. Incompetent ownership did this in the first place. So they're stuck with him. They don't have a choice. So that's why I drafted Deshaun Watson in the Scott Fishbowl, and why I think that there's actually a decent chance he could end up playing this year if that lawsuit comes to pass. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait for Judge Robinson to rule. But just keep that in mind. And then, that's some more speculation. Let's talk more about something is also speculation, but is more concrete. So today, Ian Rappaport said that Dobbins doesn't look like he's going to be ready for week 1, but Dobbins himself claims that he won't even be on the PUP list. He'll be ready. He'll be ready for week 1. So let's. I've been just ranting. So let's go away from me so my voice can get a minute. Ryan, you just got here. What do you think?
I mean, trust the player, man. You
trust the player. So you think he's going to be ready?
Yeah, he's going to be ready. He's going to be a steal now in drafts. I'm excited to draft him. I know Gus just went near Scott Fishbowl as soon as he, tweeted that out, or Rappaport did, but trust the player.
Trust the player.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say the same thing. I will still say grabbing Gus way, way later in your draft still seems like a smart move, given, they're not going to be interested in hurrying him back. Even if he is ready, they might ease him in, even if he does play week 1, like he might start out kind of getting eased back in. You never know. So while I do think you're right, like his value might crater right now, and it might be a good time to be able to get him a round or 2 later than he should be. I'm still a little bit, hesitant. Going to be monitoring the situation closely.
I'm all in on best ball though. Same for Deshaun Watson with how late they're going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here, I like this view better. But we could always go to that view. That view. Well, we could always go to that view if I get mad. No. So what I will say is, if it's not true, who told him? Who told Ian Rappaport that? Where'd it come from? He just made it up? I don't think so. He didn't just make it up. He didn't just make up that J.K. Dobbins is not going to be ready. Who told him that? Where did that come from? Because it has been obvious the whole time that there's a problem here. There's a problem because why every couple of months there's always a new problem. There's a new problem. He's not going to be ready. The rehab is taking too long. There's a new setback. He was supposed to be ready for training camp, but he's not going to be ready for training camp. So he's not ready. Now it looks like once you start hearing, well, he might be ready for, we hope he might be ready for, I don't want to hear about might be. I don't want to hear might. I don't want to hear could be ready for, that doesn't sound so good. And they're so confident that Gus Edwards is going to be ready. You don't hear, well, Gus Edwards might not be ready. They're very sure. But for some reason, for about Dobbins, they're not sure. So they're not sure. So why are they not sure? Who told Ian Rappaport that? Where did that come from? Because it didn't come from thin air. He didn't just make it up. So I see a problem here. J.K. Dobbins can say he's going to be ready all he likes. But he doesn't know if I would expect that the doctors know better than Dobbins himself whether he's actually going to be ready. And I don't buy it. So I am done with J.K. Dobbins. Like I've been done the whole time. But I don't want to hear. It's just too many problems. I've dropped J.K. Dobbins to number 23, RB23 in redraft. I don't want him. You can draft him. I think it's going to be a disaster. I don't want to draft someone and then it's going to be a long time. Because in redraft, in those early weeks, those are critical weeks. Those are the weeks where you're stuck with the team that you drafted. After that, the first couple of weeks, you can make adjustments. You can make moves. You can find additional players. But in the first couple of weeks, you need the players that you drafted to be available and starting. And if you draft J.K. Dobbins, he might not be available. He might not be good. And what's the worst thing? He's ready to go, but he's going to have limited touches. Then what do you do? Remember that people forget this when they look at year-end finishes. It's so easy. Ezekiel Elliott finished RB6. This player finished here. You forget that you actually have to go in every week and pick the player to start them on the week where they got the good points. If you just start them every week, it doesn't necessarily go so well. So you could start him, and then he gives you a couple of bagels. And then you go off to an 0-2 start. Does that sound good? That doesn't sound so good. So I don't want to have J.K. Dobbins on my team right now. And you know what's going to happen? In Dynasty, what do people remember? It shouldn't be this way, but what do people remember in Dynasty? They remember the first 2 weeks and the last 3. Why? Because of something called primacy and recency effects. You remember what happened first, and you remember what happened last, much more than everything that happens in the middle. So if he gets off to a bad start, it's going to tank his Dynasty value for the rest of the year, unless he performs well in the Dynasty playoffs, where there's no guarantee. So I don't want any part of J.K. Dobbins. He can be someone else's problem. And I really wish that this news had come out when I was on the clock and I could have drafted Gus Edwards as coverage ball. But
look, I'm saying for
shit
best
happens.
Ball, I'm out in redraft, but best ball you're competing for like $1 million in like tournaments, and you take those risks.
Why would I want him if I'm competing for $1 million? If I'm competing for $1 million, I want to win. But why would I want to?
You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
But his touchdown upside is capped. Does not get receiving work. And he's going to be splitting carries with Lamar Jackson and other running backs. Why would I have wanted to take him? He doesn't have the upside. Wouldn't you rather take someone like in that same range? Someone like Travis Etienne has much more upside than J.K. Dobbins ever would.
I think Travis Etienne tiered himself out of that tier.
They're not going to be in the same range now. They're not going to be in the same range now.
They haven't been. Dobbins is going to like the 60s.
I'd rather take 50s. Antonio Gibson over J.K. Dobbins. Antonio Gibson is healthy now. He's healthy now. He's playing now.
I mean, I don't have much of Dobbins because Brees is going like a couple of picks earlier, and you know how I feel about Brees, but
I have Brees at I have Brees at running back 11 and Dobbins at running back 23, so I don't consider them in the same conversation.
He's the biggest steal in best ball formats right now. Honestly,
I
he's
agree.
Going in the 50s. He's going around 5. It's a steal. You're getting an RB1 there.
Let's move on from J.K. Dobbins because there's other questions in the chat it's time. What's Kenneth Walker's fantasy ceiling year 1?
Wasn't Rashad Penny getting 20 touches a game?
Yes, he is. He'll have the most carries in the NFL, 340. He'll lead the league in carries. That's what he's going to do. He's going to lead the league in carries.
for the first 2 weeks.
The first week, yeah.
No, I mean, barring no Rashad Penny injury, Kenneth Walker's ceiling, RB 20, like
RB 20.
Like with sharing work with Penny, even if he somehow carves out 60, 65, like some people actually are projecting, even though we're being told Penny is going to have first crack, be the leader, I still think it's, like, mid RB2 or something is the highest I'm really hoping for. Now, if Penny goes down and he's now got a stranglehold in that backfield, then we're looking at RB1 potential, but otherwise, I've been pretty out on Walker for almost the whole time. I've been out. I haven't really drafted him in many spots. Maybe that's going to come back to bite me, but
I don't think
I don't really trust it.
How good is that team going to be? They're going to be throwing all the time.
Bad. They're going to be very bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's going to be like DJ Dallas getting the passing work when they need a running back out there.
No. DJ Dallas is one of the worst running backs I've ever seen. One of the worst. I always would.
Fine, Travis Homer. It's going to be someone, not these two, though. You think one of these two will be out for pass catching situations?
Actually, that's what they said. They said, and this is stunning to me. This is very odd news. They said that they think that Kenneth Walker is going to be their passing downs back, which I thought was very odd. But maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. But I am worried about Kenneth Walker. But it is a good sign that they do see this as kind of like that kind of committee. But they apparently think that Kenneth Walker will excel in the passing game, which is so odd because Rashad Penny was like a good receiving back coming into the NFL. He's never been used that way.
They're just trolling us.
I'm sure they are. Chris Carson will come back and lead the team.
He's going to lock down.
He'll lock down the
Alex Collins is going to become their pass catching back.
Oh, my God. Don't start with Alex Collins. All right. Rashad Bateman, Miles Sanders, second round pick, or DJ Moore?
I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
It wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't put unfortunately in front of it. I'm okay.
Yeah,
with
this
it.
is fine. This is very mad to me.
Yeah.
If Bateman breaks out, obviously you're going to look back and be like, but right now we're looking at it and I don't think it's that bad either way.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
DJ Moore is the only sure thing to me in this trade. So
Miles Sanders,
but the value is not awful.
So
yeah.
Especially in one QB, that second's not going to be worth like anything. So.
Yeah. All right, rank these in order. Mechie, Tolbert, Pickens.
Reverse.
Pickens, Mechie, Tolbert.
Pickens, Mechie, Tolbert. Yeah.
I think Tolbert's going to start week 1.
Well, that'll be very bad for the Cowboys because he is so raw and so not ready. Like, he is so not ready. He's not ready. He's one of those raw prospects that's going to take a long time to adjust. So he's not ready.
If he starts and has a boom week, I mean,
I understand that, but I don't see that as likely.
Pickens is head and shoulders above both of them.
Sure. Yeah, Pickens is far superior prospect, either one.
Agreed.
Williams and Ridley or a late 23 first? I'll take the 23 first. I know I'm going to like that.
You don't know if it's going to be late. I say this
by 2023, both of those players will be 28. So I'll take the 123 first.
And even if that picks the 112, it's going to be a good player.
It's not going to be bad, yeah. Even in the worst case scenario, this is not a disaster. FF Lefty says hi to you.
Oh, hello.
No bed comments today.
No bed comments today. Yeah. Your voice sounds kind of rough.
That's because the mic doesn't work.
Oh,
I thought
because of the late night in Vegas.
Yeah, I thought you had a fun late night in Vegas that you want to tell the people about.
I mean, Spence did win 1 cent in that Deal or No Deal machine.
Oh my god! All right.
Well, no, he doubled up to 2 cents. My bad. But yeah, Safari.
Javonte, CMC, Eckler, or whatever.
Salvador
Dalvin
Swift.
Swift.
In Dynasty started, yeah.
Swift. All right. We've talked about I talked enough about my Scott Fishbowl team, I guess. It's there's a tweet that I had with my team so far that I'll put in the chat. There you go. There it is. You can click on that, and that has my team. Can I pull that up? I guess I could, but I don't really feel like it. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. All right. Any hopes on Pierre Strong?
I think he could carve out some pass catching work in that offense, even off the bat. I think James White is a candidate to get cut, like we've heard. And
up if he's not cut.
Yeah, exactly. Or he's not ready. So he's Strong's the one they drafted first. I don't really care about Harris that much, but I do think Strong could be that pass catching guy, the third down back to complement, Ramondre and
can we see
Damian.
that at all?
A little too small.
Too blurry.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, you can zoom in.
No. I can, I don't know how.
Isn't it control and then up scroll? Am I wrong?
Yeah, or you can go control or
there should
Apple
be a
plus sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm Pierre Strong. Like I just remember the tape, and it just wasn't. Nothing wowed me. Like his physical traits are pretty good. Like pass blocking wasn't there. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ramondre will have every opportunity to take that role as well as some of the early down work. From everything I've seen and heard recently, I've been coming up and up and up on Ramondre. To the point I think I've said this a few times. I don't know if on here, but I think by the time the season gets around, I will have Ramondre over Damian in my redraft rankings.
Yeah, I'm not that far away from that.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I started, they were definitely farther apart. And then everything I've heard since then is Stevenson's getting a lot of hype. They love what he's shown, what he's been doing. And obviously Damian after this year is likely gone. So we'll see. I'm really bullish on him. I was kind of upset I couldn't get him in the fishbowl. He went a mid-round before it got back to me. That was, I mean, we talked about the fishbowl. Obviously you were the 11th pick. I was the 12th pick, and I'm sure we both had a similar issue, even if slight or only at times, where because we're at that turn, if there's a guy that is going to go off on the complete other side of the board, it's like you have to decide if you really want to reach a little bit for someone. And I think I did a good job not really letting myself reach too far for any of my guys or anything. I think my only real reach, I think, was Lazard, and we all know your thoughts on him, Tyler.
I hate him.
We know, but that's just somewhere where we'll disagree. And besides that, I don't think I reached too far. I let some of the value come to me. My only plan going in was really, I had a list of 4 quarterbacks where if 2 of them were available to me at the turn, I was going to take 2 of them. And so as it turned out, that was what happened. I had Dak fall to me and Aaron Rodgers. Those were 2 of my 4 that I wanted. And so it was those 2, Brady and Russ, were the 4 that if 2 of them were there for me, I was going to take. And it was tough to choosing, 2 of them of the 3, but Brady was gone. He would have definitely been one of them. And then I went with Rodgers and Dak because I know Rodgers, at least in the format, this scoring format, was, I believe, the number 2 QB last year, as opposed to, number 6 in normal formats. And I think Dak, Tyler, you said it too, where you never saw Dak getting mocked or falling to you.
Maybe it was just the mocks though.
Yeah. I mean, but he's still in my top 10, 12 quarterbacks for the year. So it's someone where I was going to scoop him up.
Does that look
as well.
clean now?
Not really. It's still too small.
At least it's
I'm
not
on a
blurry,
phone, so I
though.
can't judge.
At least it's not blurry. It was blurry before.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
There
I
we
can see
go.
that better now.
Yeah, I had an early pick. You guys both picked late, like you said, 11 and 12. I picked at 5.
That's the biggest I can get it.
No QBs came back to me at 208.
So what did we answer any of these questions? Put in the chat what you think about my team. But rebuilding team. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Got the 101 in a one keeper QB league. I picked up Breece Hall would be the keeper. I'm looking at Allen, Lamb, or CMC is the 101. If it's a one keeper, it's Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
In one QB, yeah.
Yeah. Looks clear. Yeah. So what do we think? Good comment on my draft. Tell me how you think I'm doing.
I mean, I like the value. I mean, I see Justin Fields there at 702, and I wrote an article about him. I think he could be good, even though we know about the Bears organization. We know. But
we do.
Yeah. But a QB 22, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, well, this has put me in the unenviable position of rooting for that, hasn't it?
Yep. And I mean, we just talked about Ramondre. I think that was a good pick there. And those guys that you took in the double-digit rounds, those running backs are the ones where it's one injury and it's the clear guy. Whereas some of those other backfields, it's a little bit messier where, even if the lead guy goes, it could be this guy or this guy. So you definitely have between those 4 that you got in the double-digit rounds, like someone's going to be a serviceable RB2 for you. And we both hit Dalvin in the 3rd round. Yep. I'm not gonna argue with that. We both have Dak. We both have AJ Brown. We got. I like it.
Thank you.
I'm
very happy. Elijah Moore and Amon-Ra. I really love that at wide receiver 34 and 36.
Yeah,
that made me really happy.
Agreed.
I'm a big fan of AJ Brown at wide receiver 11 too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was told by a lot of people that my team was their favorite that they saw. So hopefully,
See, you took a wide receiver at 202. I took my wide receiver. I took the wide receiver one on my draft at 208.
Yeah, that was I wish it had gone that way.
I made it Justin Jefferson, but
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out.
I'm almost up in the Scott Fishbowl. There are 3 more picks until my turn, so maybe we'll get that on the show. Let's
start her up.
Yeah. Well, we need. Oh yeah, it does put a lot of strain on my computer to do it.
Next week I'll be back doing it.
Oh, thank God.
My phone would probably explode if I tried to do it right now.
Yes. All right. Oh well.
In this
format. Who are you to? No, I don't. I mean, you can question the grade if you want. I don't even really care anymore. Like, I want to win, but if I win, that's great. If I don't win, that's great.
Where did I draft Kyle Pitts last year as my second tight end? Was that like round 4?
Yeah, I was not a fan. I criticized it. So we need someone to fill Team 9. I'll put it in. I'll put it in the chat.
I physically can't do it, or I would.
Who's going to take that? Who's going
to take Team 9?
Did you go to the Boston live draft?
I did, yeah. We talked about it a little bit. No, well, we talked about it a little bit before you got on today. But I mean, it was awesome. Obviously, it was right next to Fenway. And just we had our own private room. We had 4 drafts going on all at the same time. Actually, pretty crazy is one of the MFL drafts. They finished their entire 22 round draft in the 3.5 hours we were there.
goodness.
Crazy. So I think we got through about 12, 13 rounds, and then some people started leaving. But either way, I think we kept it going. Now, obviously, we're, I think, around 17, 18, 19, somewhere around there. I got Gus Edwards in the 17th round with my last set of picks, so I'm happy about that one. And we'll see.
Yeah, I'm already done my draft. I thought I was going quick, but
yeah, mine is slow. I'm still in the 16th, so come on, why is this so hard? The people are frustrating me.
I thought the
See if I
9
can
spot
put someone in there.
pretty.
I would think that it would be a good thing, but
You just take who's ever in the top tier. One of the last two people.
I know. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting. We haven't done a startup mock in a while.
No, we haven't.
But I always debate trying to fill these earlier, but then if you fill it earlier, you get a bunch of people who aren't actually there during the show. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
I would say you could fill the picks for me, and I can make but I won't be able to see like the board.
Oh, okay.
On my phone.
I wish you could.
We'll just assign you picks. We'll just, Tim Tebow in the 3rd round. Okay,
boy.
Ryan, like whatever you.
Tim Tebow in the 3rd.
I'd take Peyton Manning instead, but.
Oh, really? Yeah. I wonder who like all these people are. I recognize some people.
Yeah, I got 3. The 105, 106, 107. Those are 3 of my friends.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the board. They're going back to back to back.
Desperately trying to. This is so annoying. Whatever.
Should we just start it? Just let it be a computer. If it was more than one, maybe it'd be a problem. But
I could make the picks off the start. I could kind of read the board, but
yeah. So, well, we'll do that in a second. But is there anything else, Ryan? What did you think of your Scott Fishbowl team?
I mean, I like it. Of course I have Elijah Moore as my wide receiver 3 as well. I got caught in that quarterback run at the very end at 208. Like I said, I had to go wide receiver, then I went DeAndre Swift. So like my second quarterback's Trevor Lawrence, which I love value, but I wasn't able to get a third till like later. I have to hope Desmond Ridder starts, which
you have to hope. Well, good luck.
I have to hope.
Yeah,
I was value. I was value drafting. I didn't find any quarterbacks that I liked. Like I know people are getting insane value on Mac Jones. You got good value on Justin Fields. My division was tough.
I made a fatal error where my 3rd quarterback I drafted one that had the same bye week as just another. Oh, here we go. As just one of my 2 starters. So I had to draft just a 4th quarterback even later. So I'm relying on Geno to still be starting later in the season when
I don't think
Aaron
Geno's
Rodgers...
still going to be starting at any point in this.
Well, here's my hope, honestly. If they start with Drew Lock, there's always a chance that he's going to not do well and they go to Geno.
I still think that they could acquire a quarterback.
Fair. If they start with Geno, there's a chance that he's not doing too well. They try to give Drew Lock a chance, and he still doesn't do well, and they go back to Geno. I think it could lead back to Geno regardless. So
I'm very happy.
All right, we're underway.
I'm very happy that I got Justin Herbert at 104.
Jonathan Taylor at 102, spicy.
So yeah, who's excited? Who's excited for the mock draft? The people should be excited. I think this is going to be fun. We haven't done a mock draft in a while. So yeah, no, we're getting a lot of quarterbacks early. run on quarterbacks, which makes sense. Pretty much every Superflex startup is going like this these days.
Hey.
Yeah. I wonder who's going to be available for me at 209. Probably not going to love it. What's crazy spicy?
JT at 102.
JT at 102?
Or that. Or the Blazing Wings with Coast Pepper sauce.
So wait, Conan, what slot are you?
I picked the 12 again. I don't know. Something about that turn. I just like just being able to smash 2 picks at a time. And then, got to wait a little bit. But
we're ready.
Oh, no. It said there was the green light next to them at first.
Yep. So Ryan, I want to hear since you're not like drafting, can I take someone off auto? Or do they have to do it?
I think they have to do it.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, it's back. Kyler Murray was who I would have picked anyway there. So Ryan, how do you think about how this is going so far? Since you're not drafting, give us your unbiased commentary as we go.
I mean, this is exactly how I'd do a first round. Just probably in a different order. I'd probably put JT later and, Kyler first above Justin Jefferson. But, this is my top 11 players. So,
what about McCaffrey?
He'd probably be – I'd probably put Dak instead of McCaffrey, but it's not that spicy.
I have McCaffrey at 24 in this format, so he wouldn't be anywhere near my first round.
Conan's making his picks now, not Najee and
wow.
Ooh, Jalen Hurts.
I think in Scott Fishbowl, obviously we need accuracy and the bonus there, but in normal format, I just wanted the youth, but also just the mobility and the rushing upside that he brings. Obviously high on AJB. I think they don't bring someone in like that to not at least shift a little bit toward,
speaking of AJB,
pass heavy. Oh, there he goes. All right.
I will say, I think that in Dynasty 201 for Hurts is a little early just because it's not a guarantee. Like, it's not a guarantee that he holds down the job. If he's a dumpster fire, he'll be replaced. And I would have taken Dak. I would have taken Dak for sure.
What was it, 3 interceptions for Hurts in training camp the other day?
Oh, I don't give a shit about those interceptions.
I don't either.
I don't
either. But the media.
Fuck that. Those are stupid. Like, who cares? Like, who cares about those reports? Those don't tell us anything.
I don't. I'm just saying what I'm hearing. So
that is a little spicy, AJ Brown wide receiver. I mean, I have him at 4, but yeah. Okay, so Javonte and Russ. I mean, so far this is going pretty normal.
Chalky.
Very chalky.
Yeah. I mean, it's
maybe different
again.
orders.
I went a little bit away.
I'm never that surprised when it goes chalky because it's a draft of my patrons. So of course it's gonna go that way. My patrons, my audience, et cetera, et cetera.
Listen to your advice.
Yeah, they mostly listen.
Don't
to my
be an
advice.
idiot.
So yeah,
don't draft failures.
Yeah, don't draft failure. They mostly listen to my advice. So I took Mark Andrews. I thought that was a good value. It's tight end premium, so I went with Mark Andrews.
Yeah,
Lance.
no, I like the roster that you picked for this, where you got to start one of each.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. The people in the draft can see it, but this is the Trade Addicts format. The Trade Addicts format is what we're using. So it's one of everything: one running back, one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, one tight end, one super flex, and then 5 flex. That's the Trade Addicts format that Russ uses for his league. So actually, I met Outhouse on we got our nails done. I don't know if the people saw. I just flashed it, but that's my manicure, my nice pink manicure. What the fuck was that? Very sexy. I mean, whatever.
Interesting.
Right. Ooh, 212 for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's my audience, so it shouldn't be that surprising.
I'm unbiasedly liking what 103 and 111 is doing a lot. I like their
103, Pat and Trey. Yeah, I almost took Trey Lance at 201
really?
just to be that different.
I don't worry about stacking in Dynasty at all. I don't worry about sacking, especially nowadays. Players getting traded all the time.
Yeah, true.
What was I talking about? Oh, the league format. Yeah, I like the 5 flex.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that you're forced to start one of each position, but beyond that, you have like basically unlimited flexibility. If you want to go 5 straight running backs to start, and you can start all 5 of them every given week, you can go 6. You can literally start like as many on each position basically as you'd like.
I'm gonna try something different.
Ooh, little waddle.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about this a little bit. I've been thinking about things. I wanted Lance, but I'll set up for Trevor. I still have Trevor ranked higher. Getting Allen at 101 is great, but I didn't like much of the value for anyone at.
I disagree on the second part of that. I love Brees at 301.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he finishes an RB1, he can be what?
No,
a late first round startup pick?
Or that. All right, so Watson went at 305. Yeah, you just went youth. I like that. And yeah, play up the stacks in a league chat so you can get value on pass catchers. Yeah, no, it's good. Shay, what do we think of Watson going there?
In Dynasty, I think it's he's not going to fall too crazy late. Like regardless of if he plays this year or if he's suspended, it's not looking like he's never going to play again. Even though obviously that's kind of the boat that a lot of us are in. So still think it's a little early, but when he plays, he's a top 5 quarterback. So it's the risk you got to take to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, he's been 5 every year that he started. I'm pretty sure, but
let's see.
Matthew
Stafford 3 straight years
beyond Stephon Diggs. And Matthew Stafford is someone I'm starting to look at his ADP, and I'm like, do I really want to spend my, early 3rd or late 2nd on Matthew Stafford? Really? Do I really want to do that? Is that really worth it? And I'm like, I look at it and I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. He's someone who just kind of feels like even for fantasy last year, I mean, he wasn't that great, right?
In my recent startup that I did, my last one, I picked him in the 4th round, and I immediately flipped him for a 23 first and a later startup pick that became.
But see, in the 4th round, it's fine. In the 4th round, I just take the rest of his career, and I'm okay with it. But to pick him at his ADP, which is 22 overall on DLF, just seems a little excessive. And that's where I have him ranked, and I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of like, this doesn't feel right. I'm okay with the
back end of the 3rd.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah, it just feels like I have him ranked, and I experimented in this draft. I took Jalen Waddle over him. And I have Stafford ranked ahead of him, and I'm kind of like, I have him ranked ahead of Brees, ranked ahead of Waddle, Metcalf, and Higgins, and I'm kind of like, it doesn't feel right. But maybe I also have Russell Wilson ranked too high. I think he has just a tiny bit more upside.
I like how we have 2 teams going here with the 0 QB experiment.
The 0 QB experiment. Yeah.
0 QB.
I'm just thinking I might have Matthew Stafford a tiny bit too high.
That feels spicy for Drake. I love Drake London as a prospect.
Sometimes when I do these drafts, sometimes I make live ranking adjustments as I'm doing them. I just move Stafford down a bit because I had to choose, right? I had to choose, and I was looking at the board, pretending this was a real draft, and I didn't pick Stafford. I went with Waddle instead. So that's telling me that I don't really want Stafford over him. You see, this is why we do mock drafts, because it lets you adjust your process. It helps you adjust your rankings, because when you actually have to choose, you kind of look at the draft and then you're like, well, would I really? Seriously, that's why mock drafts are important.
Yeah. I think it's different for something like the Scott Fish Bowl or something. It's different when you have a live draft that you're mocking for, because live drafts are just so different. And when people are put on the spot, with people all around, like we had a league next to us. Guy started with 5 straight wide receivers. And you don't think after the second one he took, when we were all chanting, one more, take
all right,
one
so
more.
I'm up again.
you don't think that factored in a little bit?
I'm up again, and I think this is actually very illustrative or whatever of the decision I had to make. So like I had Waddle and Carr, and if I had done it in reverse, I could have had, let's say, Stafford and Deontay Johnson. Like if I had done it in reverse. But I think I would almost I'd prefer it this way because like Waddle, I feel like has a lot more value upside than Deontay Johnson. I feel like Deontay Johnson is currently valued at the highest he's ever. I don't think Deontay Johnson is going to gain dynasty value. I think he is kind of what he is. And it's just hoping that he maintains it, could lose a bit. Where Jalen Waddle has all the ceiling in the world. So I just feel like I'm much happier having Waddle and Carr over Stafford and Johnson, especially a little bit of extra youth. Like that's the other thing. Like I feel like Carr is consistently available around to a round and a half to 2 rounds later than Stafford. And I feel like Carr is a much better value. I mean, he's quite a bit younger, like 2.5 years younger. And is the production difference between Stafford and Carr going to be like that world ending?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people expect Carr to be even better and more efficient and throw more touchdowns. He's been a guy that can throw a lot of yards, but has had a problem, even cracking 30 touchdowns. And, what helps more than someone like Devontae Adams to score more touchdowns? So, I mean, yeah. I don't think the difference between them is going to be that large at all.
You can stack both. I'm just not worried about stacks. So yeah, if you notice, I took a third quarterback. So it is Dynasty. And Team 1 as well has 3 quarterbacks. I don't have a problem taking 3 or 4 quarterbacks early. 4 is usually where I draw the line. You won't see me take 5. Like I'm not going to take all quarterbacks. I'm not going to take 5 quarterbacks. I'm not going to take 5, 6 quarterbacks. But I will take, if the value presents itself, I will take 3 is fine. I mean, you need 3. I think you need 3, especially unless you have 2 studs. Like if you're at the turn, let's say, or near the turn, and somehow there's a possibility you can start with like Kyler and Dak. Like it is possible to start that way. If you start with Kyler and Dak, then I don't feel like I need a QB3, but I started with Herbert, who I love, but Carr. So I feel like getting a second quarterback with Tua or third quarterback with Tua is fine. What do we think, Ryan? What do we think about some of the picks? Unbiased observer.
I mean, a little high on a couple of these players. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Terry McLaurin there, but
yeah, Terry McLaurin for me is not a bad pick. I don't like that one.
I think Ken Walker is way too early too.
Yeah, it's early even for me on Walker.
Just looking at who are other people on the board. That's the thing. I think.
Yeah, wouldn't have gone Walker there.
You said no. You said you would take Gibson over Dobbins, not Walker, right?
No, I take Dobbins still in Dynasty, but in redraft I take Gibson.
Yeah. Back on the clock.
Gonna double tap running backs.
Yeah, I'm working the RB
also,
strat.
Okay, so like I was able to get Carr at 409 and Tua at 504. It just makes more sense to have taken another. Sometimes I debate like in Superflex. The teams I really like in Superflex, same as my Scott Fishbowl strategy, is when I go hero quarterback and then I can just decide what I want to do later. But I love starting with a quarterback because then I don't have to panic about it.
Yeah.
If
you just forego like quarterback totally.
Mac Jones at 602 is a great value.
Mm-hmm.
Like a great value. Like it almost makes me regret. Yeah.
I like the Brady Evans stack late.
Yeah.
Brady is in Dynasty, though, at 603. And here comes the quarterback run. But again, these are all good values. These are good values.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cousins at 604 is a value, not Brady. Brady at 603 is a reach, but just because you never know. It could be 1 year of Brady.
I like Burks there in the 6th a lot, too.
I really don't. I don't. I mean, it's not bad. It's not who I would have picked. Better than Judy. I was hoping Garrett Wilson would sneak to me. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
so right now, what do I have? I have 3 quarterbacks, a tight end, and a wide receiver. But remember, it's the 1-1-1-1 format. So I only need to start 1 running back. So I'm not as obsessed with getting a running back as I would be in a start 2 running back. And I do have Chris Olave. Okay. It's interesting.
Well, rookie, three of the last 4 picks, rookie wide receivers. It's interesting. Bang. Make it 4. Or no.
I love
Close.
Elijah Moore there.
All in.
I love Elijah Moore. I love Garrett Wilson too, but I like Elijah Moore. I mean, he was great as a rookie. Hollywood Brown, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Good pick. I'm very curious to see how far some of the players who have negative buzz recently fall. Not that Hollywood is in that category, but there's some players high on my board who have some negative stuff. So as of now, I've got Herbert, Andrews, Waddle, Carr, Tua, and then Elijah Moore. I feel pretty set at quarterback. This is the kind of quarterback room I like in a super flex. I have 1 quarterback, a sure thing, and Justin Herbert, and then between Carr and Tua, I feel pretty good about the rest of it. TJ Hawkinson. I was hoping TJ Hawkinson would be there for me at the turnaround. Not that I needed a tight end with Andrews, but I was hoping. But yeah, so what do we think about this draft so far? I mean, not a lot of crazy picks. The players lowest on my board that have been taken are Tom Brady and actually Aaron Jones, who's way down there. 27 is no thank you for me. Jameson Williams.
Fair.
Also, I will say that there's probably going to be more discrepancies between my rankings and the draft than usual because I haven't updated my Patreon rankings in like 5 days, but I've done a lot of updates on the side. So I'm looking at a more updated version than what my patrons are looking at right now.
I like the wide receiver values. This
It'll be very interesting if it gets back to me. It'll be funny.
I wonder why.
Everyone can see, okay, it won't be funny because J.K. Dobbins was the highest player on my board. It would have been funny if after all that I ended up picking him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the highest player left on my board. So it's interesting. I'll explain a little bit more as we go around, but I've deviated from my rankings. So I changed my Stafford ranking during the draft because, again, I really feel that he's too high. I mean, he doesn't run. He's already 34. Like, why is he a late second-round startup pick? It really doesn't make sense. And this is something sometimes when you do redraft ranks, I have him at 12. It's like, why is he ranked so high? So you do your redraft ranks and then you reevaluate and you adjust and you look. So I'm going to deviate from my rankings here again and pick someone else. I did not follow my rankings.
I probably would win. Is Cook still on the board? Yeah. I probably would win Cooks or Devontae Smith. Honestly,
Cooks? The Dynasty. Cooks is ancient.
He's still gonna put up like 2 or 3 more good seasons. I mean, you never know when the league's gonna fold. Like, honestly,
I understand
mock, so it's different.
FF Lefty, but just you don't have to memorize my rankings. You can just use them. All right, there's Devonta Smith. Overweight Fournette was picked.
Leonard 4 cheese pizza.
Yeah, Leonard 4 cheese pizza.
My home league's been calling him that for years, but it kind of finally like became relevant.
I was hoping Kenny Pickett would actually make it back to me, but I thought maybe that was optimistic.
I think the best one that I heard was playoff Denny's, though.
Playoff Denny's. That's funny.
He's gonna still just wreck. He's gonna.
I'm sure he will
smash. Is that exactly how we expected him to before this? But it's just funny some of the stuff coming out now.
So So Ryan, what do you think of my team versus Conan's team?
I got one QB and 5 running backs.
So that's my team.
I mean, I like the balance a little bit more, but I know what Conan's going
That's
for.
Conan's team. So very different.
I think I don't, like I was saying, I don't play this format where you only have to start one of each and you can just start 5 other flexes. So I wanted to kind of get silly with it to some degree. We'll see if I'd start deviating now, but there's still some guys I like at that RP spot. It's tough.
Are you going to take running backs again?
I might take one more. I can start 6.
Typically, though, in a PPR, after about like running back 17 and wide receiver 17, you're better off starting a wide receiver.
Yeah.
17 is usually the line. So
I'm gonna not risk. I think Tannehill is one of the only guys I feel safe with as my QB2.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm gonna take as my wide receiver 1. I was looking at Mooney, but I want someone that has a little bit more upside, I think, in a better offense. I know you're not on that pick, but
bad pick.
I knew you'd say that.
Fuck! I was hoping Elijah Mitchell would come back.
If I didn't want to go QB and wide receiver, I was gonna go Mitchell as another running back.
Fuck the G rating that this podcast used to have. Fuck that. This is getting an explicit tag. If and when Ryan decides to put this out on a podcast.
I can't put this out on my phone.
No, relax. I'm just being.
I like AJ Dillon there too.
Me, but
Ryan, no. In all seriousness, Ryan is like the best. You have no idea how many times Ryan has talked me out of so many reckless things that I wanted to do.
I do that.
Conan, you're starting to learn what it's like, like working with me.
I heard about that. Tyler texted me about that.
Oh yes, I texted I texted Ryan about the same thing. I thought it was funny. But the people have no idea what we're talking about, and it's gonna probably have to stay that way. But yeah.
In due time.
They'll find out. Yeah. All right, I got to think about. No.
You wanted Sky there?
No, it's not that. Well, it is kind of that. I wanted AJ Dillon too. I'm noticing that drafting with my patrons is causing a problem.
I like that.
Okay.
Dallas got it. Yeah, I don't mind getting a second tight end in this format because, it's 1.75 tight end premium, the trade addict scoring. I guess I didn't say that, but that's what trade addict scoring is. Yeah. But
exactly.
Oh, I also just got invited. Has anyone ever heard of the Patreon Ambassador program? They invited me to be a Patreon ambassador, whatever that means.
I'm
gonna look into it after the show, see what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
This is so frustrating. Where's all my value? I don't get any of my values drafting. I'm fucking frustrated.
I need to show you my last
listeners. What did you say?
I need to show you my last startup with all the value that I got. Like I said, I drafted 4 straight quarterbacks in the first 4 rounds.
I'm not getting any of the players I wanted. Next time we're putting this draft on someone else's Patreon. What the fuck? This is ridiculous. I'm so mad. Like, I can't. So frustrated. So frustrated.
Ooh.
My whole queue is empty.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Doubling up on the Dallas backfield.
Fuck. Should I go?
Is that the Zeke? Yeah.
The Zeke.
Should I go with my rankings? I can't even find him. Oh, there he is. That's
okay.
That's what my rankings said to do.
I mean, the recent videos have been really good.
Now, what do we think about his 90 Madden rating?
No. We can't just move past that.
Right.
The video was good. He was outside on grass with no defender. He wasn't even running that fast. He was just going and running. But I could do that. I did that workout yesterday. I could do that. What on earth does that prove? What does that prove? That he can run on grass? I can do that. Doesn't prove anything. That's looking good.
It's better
Sorry
than
to
his
anyone's
last video.
eardrums I just busted, but come on. That does not prove a damn thing. Nothing at all. Let's see him work out in pads. Let's see him work out in a game-like practice. Let's see him do something that actually is anywhere near what is done on an NFL field. Then maybe I'll decide that he's like back to normal. But no, I haven't raised his value or anything. This is just where he was in my ranks. But no, I didn't raise his value because there was a fucking video of him running on grass. I literally did that workout yesterday. Enough of that. Was that good? Do people like that?
I wanted Brandon Cooks there.
Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis was.
Hey.
So I have no running backs.
Interesting.
Just draft Gabe Davis. You know you want to. He was pretty high on my board. I actually think him, Cook, Thomas, Cook, then Davis were the highest players on my board. Niners and Cowboys hoping for 90s throwback season. Oh, before all of us were born. I'm actually the oldest of the three of us.
I look the youngest, but yeah.
Wait, how? You're the youngest?
No, I look the youngest.
You look the youngest. Wait,
Out of
who's
who?
younger between you and Conan?
I'm older, I think. I think Ryan's 1 year younger.
Wait, Ryan, when were you born?
We're 98.
Oh, you're 98.
Yeah, 97 for me.
Yeah, 95.
So close. I was talking in the 105 chat because I met up with someone from there last night with Spencer. We went over because he works at the other casino, like right across the way. We went over there, and he's like, "I think I have to card you because you look like you're 16."
Wow.
Brutal.
Wow.
It's true though. Like I get it all the time. So like I'm
Yeah.
used to it at this point.
So irrelevant, but you were talking about like, you know, the SFB pick chats. And I heard a really funny story that I wasn't even actually aware of. But so I was the 12th pick. I've been in the 12 chats, and Heath Cummings from CBS, he's also in there. And he was actually saying in the CBS Fantasy Football podcast that there was a pick 11 person.
I saw that. That was
and they were
spying on the chat.
They were seeing what the 12 strat was going to be at the turn to really get an eye for what was going to happen and what his picks could be like. And I was dying. I mean, that's smart. Like he got booted, but he got away with it for a little while. I don't even know when that happened, but
I'm getting sniped and sniped and sniped.
I can't believe he outed himself like that. He's like, I just drafted him at 111, and everyone's like 11.
I'm gonna take, and then we'll look at my roster.
Okay.
I took Daniel Jones. So yeah, I don't have any running backs, and I still need another flex, but I'm doing really well. I'm very happy with. No, I'm not happy. I keep getting sniped. I'm so frustrated. This draft
Meanwhile,
is very
I have
frustrating.
5 running backs.
I don't need it. Honestly. Is this a troll account, or is this really Hutch?
I don't know.
Hutch, is that really you? Now, if it were a troll account, I would say it was really Hutch also.
Huh.
I think it's him.
Hutch, if you want, say in the chat, and you can come on the stream. I'm yelling. I was yelling about Mike. Oh. What?
Wait.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
That was my podcast account. Okay.
That was well, go follow.
Forgot to hop off his burner.
Yeah, go follow Hutch's whatever this is. Follow that account. Hutch, leave a comment after the show drops from your podcast account saying this is my podcast account. Go check it out. Like leave that on this video after the show's over. And maybe you can get a few extra subscribers from that. No, seriously. I don't have a problem with that.
Hutch is the man, but we already know that. So
we do. Oh, Hutch is great. I am continuously impressed by the maturity. Fuck. As we compare it to me, this one over here. Why?
Oh,
Well, I wanted Davis Mills. Fuck.
You wanted your 5th quarterback?
stack them QBs.
Oh, okay.
I just stuck with my rankings because I was running out of time. My ranking said Trey McBride was the right pick, but no, that wasn't a bit. Well, I know it seemed like it was a bit, but it wasn't. I don't have bits. The only bit that I have 2 bits. 2 real bits that are long. There's the fucking Marina and there's the Bears. The Bears and the Marina. The Marina, though, I think is one of my best bits of all time. If anyone has a question about Tua, I'll do the Marina bit. But that one I like. And then the Bears, they replaced the Ryan and a Matt with another Ryan and a Matt, all incompetent, and they called it change. They thought that was change. That was what they thought. And that's another bit.
I'm wishing the best for Justin Fields, but man.
But they didn't actually make any changes. That's the problem. They have a problem. They have an infestation in the ownership suite. The problem is that they have it's kind of like the Texans. Who have like that Easterby person. The Bears are even worse. They have a big infestation, a big problem. So because they have a big problem, then they're not really able to figure anything out.
I mean, when is the conversation going to come that Justin Fields might be out as their starting quarterback if they finish that bad? Like,
what do you mean? When is the conversation going to start?
I think it's already started, hasn't it? I mean,
I started that conversation like 4 weeks ago, but I was shouted down. People like, no. He won't. He's so good. He won't be replaced. He was such a good prospect. That's why he fell to the 11th overall pick. He fell. We know he fell to the 11th overall pick. NFL teams were not as in on Justin Fields as the Dynasty community. We know what happened, but the people in the Dynasty community, myself included at times, have this like delusional like certainty that they're right about the prospects. So there's oftentimes when someone falls in the NFL draft, there's a problem that we don't know about. Look at Darius Geis. Look at, it could be Justin Fields. There are other players. Dwayne Haskins fell in the NFL draft. And, I always hate to use him as an example, but, there were reasons why he fell in the NFL draft because of his, first of all, he wasn't that good, but also other things. And, there's often the NFL teams have information that we do not have. So that's why I'm a little concerned about Justin Fields. And, they didn't really give him any weapons. They thought that Velus Jones and trading for Nikhil Harry were going to solve his problems. So they really know what they're talking about there.
I mean, if they finish as bad as like their roster is, they could be picking at 2 or 3 and picking Stroud or Bryce Young next year, just like that. Like, honestly,
that's what I said, and everyone was like, "No,
exactly.
You don't. What do you know? You've never watched. You don't know anything." And I was like,
I put it in my article like a month ago as well. Like,
I've been saying this for more than a month. I've been saying this since May.
Yeah, I recently hopped on that train of thought. It's right. Like,
all right. Hey, Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts are both not starting for their team, or one of them is not starting for their team next year. Which one is it?
Justin Fields.
Really?
Fields.
You think it's more likely he's gone
likely.
than
yes?
Because I'm kind of team.
That's what I'm kind of leaning that way too at this point. Like,
I'm up
they
again.
had done
I'm not
anything.
Ready.
If they had done anything to help him out, it's like,
I mean,
do I need
just got a $100 million.
Do I need to cheat and pause the draft? No, I'm not going to cheat.
10 seconds. You're good.
Oh, this is so stressful.
I mean, if Hurts improves as a passer, like we've said that he's a round 1 starter pick, he gets that contract.
I just couldn't take another tight end. I didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah, I haven't taken a tight end yet.
And we've seen the thing with new regimes wanting to pick their quarterback. Like, Justin Fields is not this regime's guy. So
Jalen
Hurts
no, he's
is
not
Howie Roseman's guy.
The problem is that he was ruined by Matt Nagy. And the other bit that I always do is that, as we know, Nagy didn't attend the quarterback meeting. He didn't go. He didn't go to the meeting. He didn't go because he left a piece of paper for Mitch Trubisky. And then he did the same thing with Justin Fields. He didn't actually go to the meeting. He just left the piece of paper and was like, here's my offense. You learn it. I'll be back at a later time to go over it with you. That is what he thought was going to the meeting. So his piece of paper went to the meeting, but he didn't go to the meeting. So hopefully he wasn't too ruined by that.
Mitch Trubisky was done wrong. That's all I gotta say.
He was done so wrong. But it's not his fault that Patrick Mahomes was available in the same draft.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of been haunted by that forever.
Yeah.
It's like it's even when he plays well, you could have had Mahomes.
But I'm not trashing the player, but even that move in retrospect to give up a third or a fourth round pick to move up one slot in that draft, it should have just said everything that we knew.
I'm realizing that I'm not ready again.
12.
I took a running back.
There we go.
RB1. You took
a
Washington's RB1.
Oh my god. I really hope not. I took a running back. It was a big move. I do like Brian Robinson, but this draft has been like the most like I'm not used to this. I am not used to the fast draft. I'm very, very slow when it comes to doing drafts. I like to take the whole clock, negotiate trades, all that. James Robinson is a void for me in Dynasty.
I mean,
Ryan, any interesting picks recently?
See, it's kind of getting hard to look at the picks because some of these picks don't have like face icons next to their name, and I'm on my phone, so it's really hard to like observe. Like I could tell like the faces, but like, I mean, Cordell Patterson's an interesting pick in this round. I don't know what's going to happen this year. It's a little early for me as well. I like Spiller the round before that though. I don't think he's going to take much from Eckler, but it's Dynasty, so Eckler's getting up there. But I know his game's probably going to age well. But
I think so.
Oh, Rondale Moore.
It's a good pick.
I think that was a little early for Malik Willis as well, looking back on it.
A little early for Malik Willis. I kind of agree because I don't think Malik Willis has much of a path. Wandale Robinson.
I would if I was taking a quarterback there, I don't know which way the draft's going. I can't tell. If Goff went after him, I went Goff. I would have went Ritter. I like Ritter more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Conan, are you color coding your draft?
Let's see. I guess we'll take the Alberto shot at this point.
Alberto.
Yeah.
Alberto is really someone who's fallen a lot. Like I feel like after the trade, he like really got a lot of hype and he's falling. Because I think people have done redraft ranks. I saw one set of redraft ranks where he was like in the 20s. And for redraft, I have him at 15. But I don't see much upside with Alberto. Like Alberto is bad. I mean, well, athletic, but bad. He's never done anything at all in the NFL. So he could be good, but it's just a projection. 4th round draft capital, athletic, but that's it. It's just a projection. It's not based on any fact. So you just keep in mind with Alberto that's what you're betting on. But remember that he hasn't had a lot of opportunity, and he's been half decent in the opportunity he had. So I wouldn't say he's a failure, but he also isn't a success. He hasn't succeeded in any. So it's all a projection. So just be aware of that. And I think that his hype has come down. And, let's say in Dynasty, would you rather have Alberto or like Mike Gesicki? If you had to choose. You want what you haven't seen or what you have?
Stop.
Gesicki went way earlier in this draft, for example. Finally an easy pick. Finally an easy pick. That's a player I almost always end up with.
I mean,
Ty Davis Price.
I mean, Gesicki's been hit and miss. The coaching, I feel like that's partially to blame. But when you add someone like Tyreek Hill, he's not gonna get the.
I do. Yeah, I'd still take Gesicki though over Alberto. Because I don't feel like Alberto has that much more upside than Gesicki, if any. And Gesicki, I feel like, has already done what Alberto could do.
That's fair. I mean, I think he has the better quarterback right now, and he has two lesser weapons just in his offense. You know, Cortland Sutton and Judy are not Tyreek and Waddle. Obviously, they have a lot of other auxiliary, you know, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler type of pieces, but it's just that's kind of how I look at it. I know he hasn't really produced, but
the main difference is that Gesicki has proven he can be the man at tight end, whereas they drafted Dulcich, and there's no guarantee that Alberto is going to long term be an 80% snap share player, like that kind of player. There's no guarantee. Conan, you're getting a compliment.
Yeah. Thank you, Hutch.
I do like Russell Gage that late.
Yeah, it's someone I think. I mean, it's a little tricky with Gage because I think he has gotten a ton of hype recently, and he has been kind of shooting up. So I've seen him. I think in best ball he's going even much earlier than that. So
that's a player.
But in Dynasty, I think he's not like this crazy young guy. So
that's a player I don't think I've picked in I don't even know how long.
I gotta take a quick call.
DJ Chark.
I remember DJ Chark, and what was it, 3 years ago that he broke out?
Yeah, he was like really, yeah. DJ Chark still only turns 26 in September. And I do like him on the 1-year deal because if Jameson Williams is not ready, then he could step in.
It doesn't look like Jameson Williams is ready either.
No, it doesn't. So I don't mind getting DJ Chark in the 15th, and then he's not going to succeed here long term. But he could give you short-term value on this team and then maybe set himself up for a slightly bigger payday next year. In the 15th, we know that DJ Chark is a good player. Not that he's great, but we know he's good. When he's healthy, you can't produce at the level he did and just be bad.
I mean, I like this is the range where I like taking chances on rookies, like Jelani Woods last round. I mean,
yeah, there just weren't any rookies that I was like, if there were, believe me, if there was a rookie that I was all in on, I would have taken him, but there really wasn't.
I feel like we're past the late second round range at this point. With
there's a couple of players sitting out there that I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping that they swing back to me. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's an interesting. I'm also hoping we get my Scott Fishbowl pick, but because we're one away from May.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Ritter go already?
Yes. Ritter went at 12:07, which I think is too early.
Oh, he went before.
Valdez Scantling, I like that one. Patrick, not so much.
I'm a big fan of both.
I just think there's no upside with Tim Patrick. Well, Valdez Scantling, I think there is. With Patrick, I think there's none at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some reports where it's Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick are the guys that are going to be out there if it's two wide receiver sets.
In a good season from Tim Patrick, he's wide receiver 35. In a good season, that's the best case scenario.
He's literally been the best wide receiver on the Broncos for 2 years now.
Right, and how high has he finished in those 2 years?
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but also they didn't have
significant time in both of those years.
I get it. But they have a better quarterback. Who's to say one of them might not go down again? And who knows? They paid him. They seem to like him almost better than Judy.
It feels like Valdez Scantling is the wide receiver 1 on that team.
I've been coming around on him. They gave him, I believe, the most money out of any of the wide receivers they signed this year. I think they have a plan to use him and not just that deep shot twice a game plan that the Packers kind of had him in.
I'll make a point here. Do not bother drafting Van Jefferson. Don't bother. Just don't draft him.
No, you're just a huge Tutu Atwell guy.
No, they're going to re-sign Odell. And they're going to re-sign Odell at some point, and then Van is not even going to play. So don't waste your time on Van.
I love
someone
the
who
dad wide receiver coach narrative though. That is a very fun narrative.
All right. Almost me. Almost there.
I mean,
there it is.
Marlon Mack.
I'd rather take this chance on Marlon Mack than Van Jefferson. Marlon Mack might be a starter to start the season.
Well, the player I wanted did appear. Maybe I'm way too high on this guy. I don't know.
Josh Palmer. Okay.
Maybe I'm overly optimistic. He's very high in my rankings compared to ADP.
I mean, he's going to start, right? Wide receiver 3. They lost. They started 10. I mean,
I think
they
so. There's Odell.
They replaced Jared Cook with Gerald Everett. And
I'm not saying I would draft Odell. I'm saying because I don't want to. I'm just saying that he's going to sign and he's going to be their wide receiver 3 and push Van Jefferson off the team, but off the playing field. Whereas but I still think that Kupp is there by far 1. Robinson will be the nominal 2, but I'm not overall interested in him, and Beckham will be 3. Khalil Shakir is interesting. Oh, I'm gonna. Pierce Strong was another player I kind of had on my mind.
What I mean, I'm kind of like I think Crowder is gonna be the slot guy in that offense.
Maybe
I think yeah. I mean, I don't think Shakir is gonna have that role to himself to begin the season, which I think some people are kind of expecting.
It's funny that I often end up with players that I hate because I feel like I talk about how much I hate them, and then people over listen to
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Is he ever going to start a game?
Yes.
I know.
Yes. And then he'll be worth more than this.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's really no one else. If there were someone else I wanted, I would have taken them, but there really isn't.
Yeah. I think
Rodgers got that deal. Jordan Love's. I feel like Jordan Love's going to be that guy that, signs not like a Teddy Bridgewater. Well, maybe.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Contract.
I didn't realize I had the Sutton, Alberto, Tim Patrick stack.
Also, do not pick Nikhil Hartman. I'm glad that was an auto pick. Don't bother with Nikhil Hartman. He is so bad. He is so bad. He's so
I like
bad.
having
he can't
the
do anything other than run
exposure.
fast.
Yeah, but they need someone that's going to run fast.
No, they have Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, but
they signed Valdez-Scantling. They literally signed Valdez-Scantling.
But I don't think he's going to be used in that only deep shot kind of guy.
I'm not only, but I still think he's going to be mostly used that way because Juju can't be used that way. Juju is a snail. It's going to take a long time for him to get 30 yards. It would take a long time. We would be waiting, and Patrick Mahomes would be sacked. That won't work. I mean, we don't want that. And then Sky Moore, I mean, he could do that, but I feel like Marquez Valdez-Scantling profiles in that role very well.
Ooh, okay.
Drew Lock.
He was actually
Drew Disaster. Drew Disaster. Drew Disaster. My favorite player. Drew Disaster.
All right. Well, I mean, we talked about
Gus
this guy.
Edwards.
Obviously,
yeah, he's someone
I think
I moved him up in my rankings, but I was debating how high.
Yeah, I mean, I think as whatever RB he is at this point, I am going to take the shot, and I'm going to take. It's a tough spot. I like other guys better, but I want to make sure I have some sort of just in case. I think he's my favorite non-starting quarterback, and I think
he's not my favorite of the ones that were left. There's a couple more that
I mean,
I know which ones are favorite. I'm not gonna say anything, but
I mean, it's just
yeah.
Well, we'll see.
He plays for my team.
Does he? I don't think he does.
I mean,
I don't think he does.
I'm a big fan of that guy as well, but
I don't think he does though.
Huntley last year.
Abram Smith. Okay. I like it, but it's 4 rounds too early. 4 or 5 rounds too early. Luckily, I made this 25 rounds, so you'll have plenty of time. Oh, yeah. No, I made sure we got to talk about the sleepers. We don't usually get there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, don't pick him. He sucks. Don't.
I mean, so I think unfortunately I do have to probably head out.
Yeah,
But
these shows are so long.
I know. I mean, and after a few more weeks, I won't have a cutoff. I just have work, at a kind of weird time in the afternoon. But I will be back obviously next Monday. I will try to do a couple more picks before I have to head out officially. But as always, great mocking, great talking football, and good catching up and talking about, Scott Fish and all these other things with you guys. And as for everyone else watching and listening, thank you very much. And can't wait to be back next time.
We love you.
Love you too. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right. See you in May. It's like old times.
All right.
All right. So what do you think of me taking Terrace Marshall? 1809. He's got a lot of good buzz lately. Good buzz.
I know, but
and don't you think Baker Mayfield is going to fix all of his?
It's so tough because I was so in on Terrace Marshall.
I was hoping. I was hoping for Darrell Williams. Who's ever at 101 has to be a patron of mine because every pick
I've been
straight out my rankings.
Isn't it Jesse at the 101? Is
that Jesse?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh. The picks are oddly similar to my Patreon rankings. So if it's Jesse, he's like doing a lot of matching my Patreon.
Darrell Williams is one of my favorite redraft picks where he's going right now in best ball drafts.
I didn't get him in Scott Fishbowl. I was really upset because I thought I would, but I didn't get him. Danny Gray is someone on my radar. Oh my God, one pick away from me getting a player that I've absolutely trashed. But I'll take him. I'll take him if he falls.
I mean, you have to do that. Even if...
Yeah, it was Velus Jones. Not surprising because the third 103 is definitely one of my patrons. All right, I will. Where is he?
I've been picking Velus Jones a lot.
I'll take Gardner Minshew. Yeah, I've actually gotten a lot of Velus Jones as well.
See, that was your favorite backup quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I knew I was right.
Yeah, but I lied about it so he wouldn't get picked.
I know. I mean, you said it best the one time. It's because of his contract over Tyler Huntley. Like Tyler Huntley has a rushing upside that Gardner Minshew doesn't, but
he's 2 years away from being free.
Exactly. That's what it is. And I mean, Gardner Minshew could spot start. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky got a good contract.
Absolutely. It's not Teddy.
So,
Deonta Foreman is someone who's like a good sleeper.
I like that. I like him over Hubbard because obviously he just signed there.
Well, I do have Hubbard ranked higher. Maybe I should change that. Mostly because Hubbard's younger. You always want to catch lightning in a bottle on the youth.
I mean, that's what you're doing from round 14, 15 later?
Yeah. Fuck. Is this a record for cursing?
Probably.
Yeah, I think this is the most I've cursed on any show.
Tony's been getting a lot of buzz lately, but I'm just out.
I'm pretty out too. Not as out as I was, but I'm not super in.
It's the whole vacated targets argument. And I think we've had that one.
I know the fucking vacated targets. I'm tired of the vacated targets. It's all about that. People are always talking about that, and I'm kind of over it. Oh, Hayden Hurst. Do I even have Hayden Hurst ranked?
He's been sneaky lately. I feel like there's some value to be had in redraft for Hayden Hurst.
The only value Hayden Hurst has is his advocacy for mental health. That's it. Nothing else.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's all he's good for.
Wasn't that recently as well? Wasn't that this past week?
That was this week. Yeah, they actually invited me to go on last minute, but I was busy. But they saw me post about it. They invited me to go on. I couldn't do it, but yeah, that was this week. I think the mental health.
He's gonna be the starting tight end in Cincinnati. I mean,
yeah, and that was so useful.
What is that
last year with a far superior player and Uzama? It was so good. Not interested.
Kendrick Bourne's someone I like sneakily.
Yeah. Trey Sermon is honestly someone I don't mind picking. I really don't. Like, I really don't mind picking him at this part in the draft.
I don't know if you talked about this last week because I wasn't here because I was in the middle of the mountains with absolutely no cell service. But how do you think Robbie Anderson's doing right now?
I don't think we talked about that. But honestly, probably not great. Sony Michel. Why not?
I mean, that backfield's so crowded to the point where I don't know what's going to happen.
Sony Michel. Yeah. No, I just think there's upside. I mean, we know Velus Jones is the same age as my next pick. Well, yeah, he's like similar age to Julio Jones. I don't think I would have picked Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones is done.
He should have signed by now. The one that surprises me that I don't know if he's off the board or not, because I'm trying to pay attention, but like I said, the names are really small for me, is Will Fuller. Like,
yeah, Will Fuller, I'm stunned that Will Fuller has not signed. But I've lowered him so much in my rankings because I'm starting to think he doesn't sign. Like, I'm starting to think it just doesn't happen. There he goes. Yeah, he wasn't super high in my ranks. Mark Ingram could be interesting.
I do like Mark Ingram. We don't know about that Kamara suspension. It could come around.
We're not. I don't think we're gonna know until.
No.
I think that's could go into the season as to like the Zeke one did, where it's like it could happen, it could not happen. Kyle Phillips is not a bad sleeper, actually.
But like I was saying earlier, like these best ball tournaments where you're trying to win like X amount of money, like Mark Ingram is one of those good picks. If Kamara does get that suspension, you got a valuable player at round 14, 15 in redrafts.
Yeah. I kind of like Kate Otten.
Me too. I have a sneaky suspicion that Rob Gronk comes back late in the season, but
I really do not think so. I really think Gronk.
I mean, I don't know how I'm feeling about Kate Otten with the Kyle Rudolph buzz as well. I heard the Bucks were interested in him as also.
I don't buy that, and also I just think Kate Otten. I mean, you're not really expecting it as a rookie anyway. You're looking long term, and I think that he's someone that could have a good profile. I mean, they picked him for a reason. And if he gets any opportunity, any at all for a rookie tight end is very good. But he could be another Jacob Harris. That's why I'm not as high on him as I might have been in years past.
That was such a miss.
I think that was like the most time wasted on a player who literally never did anything that I can remember. Oh, Sam Darnold finally went over the board. Hey, it's a legitimate competition, right?
No,
it's not. Brian Edwards, he was kind
of on my list. This late for Brian Edwards, yeah. I mean,
I'm fine with it.
It's a new spot. You never know.
I certainly from the profile, I would bet against him. I would definitely bet against him, but yeah, there are worse picks.
I'm okay with Troutman and Logan Thomas this late. Spot.
Cameron Braid, I just never understand. He's never done anything in 5 years.
His redraft ADP is way too high right now.
Yeah, people are just thinking the plug and play, and it just doesn't work that way. Oh, wow. Starting to go fast. I think there are some people. I made it 25 rounds. They want to.
I like Marvin Jones that late. I feel like he's still just starting.
I don't hate it. I don't even hate Chris Carson that late in case on the off chance that we're wrong and he comes back.
I mean, I don't know exactly what round we're in. I just know we're late.
We're in the 22nd. And yes, this is worse than the 5th round rookie draft. There's a couple of players left that I don't mind.
Big Paris Campbell fan. This
Eno Benjamin. Right. That one I mind. That one I think is not great.
We already know how I feel about Paris Campbell. We don't have to go into that.
There is a player that I don't hate that was left. Jerome Ford.
I mean, why not? Cream Hunt.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of think that he has some potential as a prospect. He landed in a situation where he's so stuck, but if he ever gets unstuck.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, Bjornus is only on the tender.
Yeah,
Hunt can
and
leave.
Hunt can be cut, but I don't think he will be.
And then, just like that, you have a second string running back that probably should have been taken 6 rounds earlier. So
Ferguson is not a bad stash behind Schultz.
no, especially if they can't work out a deal.
Yeah, especially if they can't work it out. Yeah, for sure. Heineke. Deshaun Corbin is not bad. The Giants UDFA. Someone I'll keep an eye on throughout training camp if he gets buzz. I'm not like saying he's going to be anything, but it's someone I have an eye on. Kennedy Brooks. I do like Kennedy Brooks in the Eagles backfield. You heard anything out of the Eagles area about Kennedy Brooks?
No, I haven't been in the Eagles area, so I haven't been.
You haven't been. Yeah,
I haven't really been in touch with a lot of this stuff as of late.
That's fair.
I've been trying to enjoy vacation a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't have vacation. I don't go on vacation.
I'm gonna hit the lazy river after this, and I'm just gonna.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy trying to create content for the people. The people deserve Zay Jones.
I like.
They
Zay
do.
Jones.
They deserve. Yeah. I mean, they signed him to a decent sized contract. You never know. You never know. He could hit.
And hey, I was gonna be here last week too. I don't take days off. I only took that day off because I couldn't physically be here because like I said, middle of the mountains.
That's true. Yeah, you could.
I was getting one bar.
Oh,
it would have been terrible. But now we're here. James Washington as well.
Chiguzem Aquan. I can't even pronounce that name. James Washington. It's getting to the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, with Gallup hurt, you never know. Like when we're this late. Lefty's right. We do need to send you to the beach.
Send me on vacation. Yeah. If 200 more, you sign up for my Patreon, I'll go on vacation.
Come join me and Spence in Vegas.
You want me to go to Vegas? I need a nap. They're giving me a nap in Vegas. Can I do that?
I mean, I did. So
fair. Uzama's an interesting pick this late. So is Charlie Kolar. You never know. The Ravens seem to really want to build their offense around tight end.
Not wrong.
All right, 2 more rounds. It gets really the dog days here. These final 2 rounds. No more.
Cedric Wilson was like sneaky, and then
a little.
Tyreek Hill said no.
Juwan Jennings is kind of sneaky.
Yeah, he was getting some positive buzz, if I remember correctly.
He was.
Jalen Guyton. I mean, you want good offenses, and Jalen Guyton's in a really good offense.
Yeah, I know Josh Palmer's probably going to start over him, but
exactly. But I'm saying this late, like if one of those guys goes down, which we don't predict for injuries, we don't root for injuries, but you never know.
Well, that's kind of why I like Josh Palmer, because Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are often injured, and Matt Breida, the other Giants running back. All right, I'm going to take a running back that I actually think is kind of interesting. I've heard some positive things about him. Tristan Ebner, the Bears' 6th round pick. Someone I'm kind of interested in. He's a little bit on my radar. Just a little bit.
I mean, he has to be with Dayot Montgomery's contract situation.
All right. Detroit rookie tight end James Mitchell on your radar at all? Absolutely not. No. Deontay early 23 second and 2 early 23 thirds, or Metcalf. Which side for you there?
Ooh, I feel like I'd take DK, honestly.
Take DK. Probably take DK also. It's not far off. It's about even.
It's tough. Yeah.
Minimal. I haven't seen Minimal picked in a while. That's Denzel Mims for anyone newer to the show.
This one's for you.
Minimal. Oh, I love getting to say Denzel Minimal. Yes, it is. Which one? Jet? Or because Jet is a player I like.
Jet's a player that I like as well.
Minimal. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I always have had a soft spot for minimal. He's
Round 25.
Yep, here we go.
Marquez Callaway. I remember seeing those trades for first a year ago.
Oh my God, there were trades for first?
Yeah, I believe so. I wonder what those teams are up to right now, honestly.
I really do wonder, you know.
I honestly do as well.
Minimal. Yeah, all right. Byron Pringle, no one cares. All right. I'll take a player that I honestly still believe in, but has really been dealt a bad hand. Harrison Bryant.
Yeah. I agree.
But I do actually legitimately think Harrison Bryant is a talented player. I mean, he did so well for a rookie tight end. And then he just kind of
he's talented.
Fell off. Nikhil Harry. How the mighty have fallen. Nikhil Harry in the 25th round. Wow.
Wasn't he the 101 in his draft class?
Yes, he was. Who even is this? Charleston? Is it Charleston Rambo? Carson Strong and Dontrell Hilliard to finish it off. Well, what do we think about that mock draft? That was tough. Good drafters in there.
Definitely.
So yeah, we can go through my team. So I started with Herbert, then Andrews, then Waddle, Carr, Tua to finish out the first 5 rounds. Then I got loaded up on some wide receivers with Elijah Moore and Amon-Ra. Then got another tight end with Goddard. I picked value with Michael Thomas, another value with QB4, Daniel Jones. Then I kind of went back to tight end with Trey McBride and took Michael Gallup at 1209. And then, I got a couple of value running backs. I did not have a lot of running backs on this team. Brian Robinson and Tyrion Davis-Price, but it's okay because you only have to start one and the rest are flex. I got just value at receiver and a little bit Jordan Love. Pick Gardner Minshew in case he's a starter next year, and then just closed it out with 3 running backs in Michelle, Ford, and Ebner that have some opportunity. And Kate Auden and Bryant, 2 fourth-round tight ends, I believe in talent-wise. And Zay Jones, I always think it's kind of weird considering the money that he got, the offense he's in, the opportunity he could have. It's kind of weird that he falls so far. So I just added him to the team at the end. So that's my team. And thanks for everyone who participated. Not too many auto picks. I know we went 25 rounds. I know it's a long draft. So I'll bring us back and then close out the show. But again, thanks to everyone for being in that draft. I had a great time doing it. We'll probably do these. I'll do these decently often. I do feel that they're some of our best stuff. People really enjoy. I know the mock drafts, so I'll definitely respond to the people. We're not getting the Scott Fishbowl pick, so that'll unfortunately I will tell you guys more about it later. And if you're here almost 2 hours into the show, I appreciate you. Just make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Subscriptions are great. We really need that 1,000 mark. So we were at 962 when the show started. I don't know where we are now, but if you could help get us there between subscribing and hitting the bell, that would be great. And then if you're interested in more from me, I have Ask DLF every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where you can, see me with Cal and use some guests sometimes. This week is Ryan McDowell, so that'll be a very, very good show. And then my Patreon. There's a link to my Patreon, and we have our Twitters down below us. So, Ryan, point to your Twitter. The Tyler F. Close enough. So that you can catch us on there for any of I did a thread today about what's your best fantasy football memory. So I'm trying to do a little bit more of the engagement stuff. I'd kind of gotten a little tired of it, but trying to get back in the swing of it a little bit more lately with the season coming up, because I like engaging with the people, especially during the season. There's a lot to talk about. But next week we'll be live at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be our time every Monday from now on.
Yep.
And I don't know, because I actually don't have a plan for next week's show, but I will decide what it's going to be before I put up the link. So
I'll be back at my setup too, so we'll be good to go.
Awesome. So just thanks to everyone for drafting. Thanks for being on the show, and I will see you all next week.